For somebody who has been in video games for as long as I have, if you would have told me, okay, a few years ago that all three of Ubisoft, EA, and Activision Blizzard would be in a tumultuous point where they would be at risk of significant restructuring or an outright buyout, I would have called you insane, but here we are. Okay, recently talking about EA losing 20% of its market cap due to very stupid fiduciary decisions coupled with a lack of innovation. That one might have actually been the most believable because EA's just been kind of trading on repackaging old ideas time and time again for a very long time. So that could have been, kind of makes sense. But you'd also think, okay, they could, there's a propensity and there's an ability for them to turn it around. But Ubisoft being in the decrepit state that it's in, I don't think anybody, okay, especially at the height of Assassin's Creed 2, Far Cry 3, and then even in the afterglow of that, launching Watch Dogs and the litany of Tom Clancy games that were out there, you never would have thought that they would have been one game away from ultimately, closing up shop. That would have been something to behold. But to also see Activision, who was at the height, like just really cast your mind back, about 10 years ago, okay, 15 years ago when the Guitar Hero franchise was just absolutely killing it. Call of Duty could not do anything wrong. And at one point in time, arguably the best value in gaming for $60, you would get the premier online matchmaking experience, okay, with all of the gamer words that you could possibly handle. A compelling campaign, and depending on who had it that year, either Infinity Ward, they had their goofy little missions, or if Treyarch had it, you would have zombies on top of that. Like, there was so much value in those pre-Call of Duty Ghost games, pre-Sledgehammer, where Activision was making money hand over fist. Not to mention their other little releases that would come out as well, but now all three are having problems. We've talked about EA before, we've talked about Ubisoft, now we can focus on Activision Blizzard right here because their big premiere release at the end of last year and then hopefully buoying them throughout this year until they release their, next Call of Duty isn't doing so well, okay? And we're not but, a month and change, 6 weeks from release, which is wild to think about, man. And you got Call of Duty player count has already fallen to pre-Black Ops 6 numbers. Oh, that's not good, okay? And that was when, Modern Warfare 3 was not exactly lighting the world on fire. Call of Duty Black Ops spectacular fall from grace is continuing, okay? Last week, we reported that Activision's latest title was one it called the most successful in series history. Yeah, guys. Oh, it's the first one that's going to be on Game Pass. Oh, it's breaking all of the records. And yeah, it had a huge following over on Steam. And as somebody who's been paying attention to the Steam charts recently, hasn't really been popping there for a very long time. I don't remember the last time I seen Call of Duty on that list, but I digress. It lost almost half of its players in 2 months. And it appears that the mass exodus shows no sign of slowing down. According to SteamDB, just 2 months in, Call of Duty on Steam is down to its pre-Black Ops 6 numbers. Oh, shit. Yesterday, Call of Duty on Steam, which includes Black Ops 6, Warzone, and Modern Warfare 3, had a peak player count of 66,349. That's not good. You have to go all the way back to March 23, 2024 to find the last time that was that low. And you're supposed to be at a point in time where everybody's still excited, still playing the game. Yeah, and especially because you're going to be about, 10 months from the next release. That's not good. Given the percentage of these 66,000 players are likely playing Warzone or Modern Warfare 3, it's a damning indictment for Black Ops 6. And it's like, yeah, if you're unironically releasing a 6th iteration of a franchise, like unless you're Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest or a long-running RPG, like what the hell are you doing? Okay, are you that out of ideas? Like, this is letting you know, okay, it's just little hallmarks like this that let you know that the Western gaming industry has reached maturity. They're at a point in time where they need to pivot, reinvent themselves, or they're just going to end up crumbling under their own inadequacies. And what's even more interesting is to note, is that it took almost a full year for Modern Warfare 3 to drop as low as Black Ops 6 is right now. And yeah, Modern Warfare 3 was not a well-received game, by the way. Okay, and no, I'm not talking about critics, because I could give a shit what critics have to say about that. But this was the player base. Modern Warfare 3 launched on November 10th, 2023, and it maintained an average peak player count of around 80,000 players for most of its life cycle, dropping to a then low 67,536 players on September 11th, lest we forget. Still not as low as Black Ops 6 was yesterday. You have to go all the way back to at least October 16th last year for when it achieved that feat. So yeah, we're talking about them hitting numbers in about, 2 months' time that it took 11 months for Modern Warfare 3's remastered DLC spin-off to reach. Like, what are we doing out here? Okay. And you would think that this would be a point of inflection. Okay. The Black Ops 6, at one point in time hitting 315,000 players just on Steam. Okay, just on Steam, a 79% drop in just 2 months. You would think that would be a point in time going, oh, geez, this really ain't hitting. We need to make a couple of changes. Obviously, like the gameplay is still a big selling feature. Like there's some aesthetic, there's some story changes that we could possibly make to this stuff, or we could just double down on the stupid shit that is the most divisive and the least successful. We could just go ahead and do that. Like that could be fun. Call of Duty developer Activision Blizzard doubles down on DEI as U.S. Department of Defense reverses course. Now this really does tie into the stuff that Trump was doing the first couple of days and during the first week of his presidency, where he signs executive orders to rid federal branches of the government to do away with all of these illegal hiring and promoting practices, based on the color of somebody's skin and not on the content of their character, to re-engineer an old quote. So no, Trump can't sign an executive order to make Call of Duty less woke. They just have to, assess the way that people are looking at the accomplishments of Trump's first couple of days and going, kind of like what I'm seeing over there, and them changing course, coming to the realization that, all of these insane leftists kind of lost the culture war. Maybe we just need to go ahead and try to slowly backtrack, okay? There's still eager gamers out there willing to play our game. So, you know what? If we just go ahead and, all that stuff, big cringe, or not even just address it, and just simply come back around to just normalcy. Because that's what people on the right want. Like, we don't want to be proselytized to. Like, it might be fun to, potentially have a mega cap in there if you're going to have customization options, but then at the same time, okay, we don't want to be taking orders directly from Director Trump telling us we have to go in there. Okay, we need to go back in there. We need to tell Rocket Man. We need to go ahead and we need to get those secrets that he took from our allies. Even though that might be kind of fun. Even though. No, we don't want the pendulum to swing back the other direction as hard as it has been stuck in the leftist camp for decades and decades. No, man, we just want to play, the pointy, click, shooty game. That's it. Okay. We don't want to have trans bullets, gay flags. We just want to go back to the days of, the old Modern Warfare 2 lobbies where it was just come as you are, shit talk to your heart's content, and just have fun. Like, that's all people want. That's all people want to play. But no, the reason that they can't make these changes is the same reason I've been pointing out time and time again, especially in the gaming industry. All of these divisive policies, okay, everything that just patently and provably does not work is exactly what these activist developers want. For as much as you and I can take a look from the outside looking in and going, that's why that failed. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is an absolute failure. And putting in an inexperienced and awful creative narrative team on top of that. Any hope that your narrative and your characters could somehow salvage your piss poor gameplay, that's completely and totally thrown out the window because Sweet Baby Inc. couldn't write themselves out of a wet paper bag, let alone further the Arkham Batman narrative and universe. Here's the thing. All of these consultancy companies, they're going to continue to get work because the people that have been put and hired into these positions desperately want this stuff because that's how they got into the industry to begin with. Gaming was at its most successful and most creative when it was a bunch of sweaty dudes in their garage striving to make a fun game because they wanted to make fun games, not because they wanted to use their platform to promote a message. No, they wanted to make the monkey run through the jungle and beat back King K. Rool because it was making his grandpa big mad. Okay? They wanted to be a kick-ass, no-nonsense super soldier going through the bowels of hell, shooting and killing demons. Now they just want to make games about sitting around a table, having pie, and sharing their feelings. What are we doing? Killing companies, I guess. While major corporations like Walmart and Amazon have disbanded their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and President Donald Trump has officially ended DEI programs at the federal level, Call of Duty developer, Activision Blizzard president Kostich, it used to be easier when it was just Bobby Kotick, appears determined to buck the trend in a company-wide email. Kostich, I'll get around to figuring out how that's pronounced, reinforced the company's unwavering commitment to DEI despite growing skepticism among the gaming community to a broader cultural shift against these ideologies in a post to the company's Slack. Okay, Grums has the goods here. Activision Blizzard president doubles down on DEI ESG. Hundreds of employees send likes. Okay. In all the company's message, Robert Kostich reaffirms the company's commitment to the disastrous non-merit policies that have destroyed studios nonstop in 2024. To be clear, this work continues to be extremely important in everything that we do. Our inclusive growth team has made great strides in helping us weave inclusivity into all aspects of our business. Sounds like an unlawful hiring practices and non-merit-based promotions are still the plan at the company as they fail to read the room. Yeah, exactly. And it's going to result in such great things like retreads of Call of Duties that fall off in record time. The post, which received enthusiastic responses from many Activision Blizzard employees, big shock there, several featuring ideological flags in their reactions, reaffirm the company's stance on incorporating DEI into games, workplace, and overall strategy. However, this decision comes at a time where public sentiment is increasingly rejecting these initiatives. This comes in the day President Trump is expected to sign an executive order officially banning DEI initiatives, and he's already done that. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, supporting games that, I don't know, do goofy shit like this, like if you want to have skins like that, that's fine, man. I actually don't care. I think that it's absolutely hilarious. It's just when the people making this stuff are so overwhelmingly unqualified. Like, it would be different, okay? Like, if you had your art department putting this stuff out, that would totally be fine. Giving it the green light, that's a totally different kettle of fish. But the reason people aren't sticking by these games en masse, because realistically we're talking about this stuff and we're really appealing to a very small subset of people. Okay, for as much as the guys like, oh god, I forget his name, but the guy who had the very controversial statement, the big streamer Nick Merckx, there it is, who had the very controversial statement of saying, just leave the kids alone, ends up losing his Call of Duty operator and a couple of sponsorships off of that very innocuous comment. Did that overall impede the success of, I think the game at the time was Modern Warfare 2, the remake of that one? No, not really. The big problem is these goofy ass policies that end up putting people who can't make a goddamn game in the positions where they need to make a goddamn game. That's what Activision is finding out. That's what Ubisoft is dealing with half of their development team on Assassin's Creed Shadows never working on a game before. Looking over at EA as well with Dragon Age the Veilguard, how atrociously made that game was, resulting in massive layoffs in an already laid off studio in BioWare Edmonton. Like, we're just days away of breaking the story that, yeah, that studio's going to be closed. I don't have the inside track on that. I'm just, being able to read the room and covering the stuff for as long as I have and following along with these studios and these decisions even longer than that, knowing how quickly EA is at axing any underperforming studio. But you would think, because Activision is just basically the Call of Duty studio at this point in time, they would figure out, okay, cool, something's not working. We are hemorrhaging players. What should we do? Oh, right, double down on the things that have brought us to this point. Okay, double down on the people that put out shit like this. Kill your local MAGA. Blizzard technical artist and associate art director of Gearbox both wish death to 50% of Americans in a post and likes to their public Facebook. Big shock on that one. This is the type of atmosphere that Activision president Robert Kostich, is fostering as he doubles down on woke DEI and ESG today. HR turns a blind eye to open calls for violence and death at these studios. They've gotten away with these for years and mistakenly thought they were protected and on the right side of history. Exactly. Kyle Hickey, yeet your local MAGA, associate art director at Gearbox. Also, he's probably going to end up working at, or did end up working at, oh no, because I'm pretty sure, Gearbox is under the Activision banner, so he's going to have his hand in, Borderlands 4, so in case he needed yet another reason not to play another Borderlands games, which has always been cringe, so I guess de facto I was going to be boycotting those to begin with, but I was always going to end up doing that. But there you have a leaked message that Activision, it's not going to change. They're just going to continue to wonder, oh, gee, I wonder why our games aren't doing as well after release. They get the big old bump up front, and they can go ahead they can go ahead and buoy that for a while, because that's the same reason that, the likes of Neil Druckmann over at Naughty Dog, oh my god, hey guys, look at how many games we shipped in the first couple of days. All of those chuds out there are big mad that The Last of Us Part 2, sold like gangbusters in its first week. Oh, hey Neil, what were the week 2 numbers? Okay, or what are your totals to date on The Last of Us Part 2? Oh, we're doing a remaster of it, and it'll be out on PC in April. I can't wait for those numbers to come out, because that's going to be a good bellwether for how well Intergalactic's going to work. How antiquated. Like, for as bad as all of this stuff looks right now in the aftermath, like, just think, okay, when Intergalactic ultimately comes out in 26 or 27, something like that. My money's probably on 27, but just how pathetic all of this shit is going to look. Like, it's already been bad, and it was bad for a long time. Like, it was just all eye-rolling or just point and laugh at the multi-billion-dollar corporation wasting all of its goodwill. But just think, okay, as the years go on, even as this year goes on, as we just get more announcements and more girl boss crap and more trans-pandering bullshit, just how stupid and antiquated the AAA Western space is going to continue to look in gaming. But I guess there is good news on the horizon, everyone, because this shit can't last forever. There's only a finite amount of money that they can continue to pull in that'll offset these massive development costs, because we see time and time again these budgets come out, and the amount of sales that they do at some point in time, it's not going to be able to offset that. So there will have to be some changes. Or in the case of Ubisoft, there's going to have to be some studio and publisher closures. And well, EA's at this point in time, at least right now, too big to fail. And Activision Blizzard has a Microsoft money to burn. Ubisoft going down is definitely going to be that shot across the bow in the gaming industry. So either you reform or you die. Simple as. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.